Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we will design a necklace, probably a jewelry set with bargain bead box subscription for the month of March 2025. I want to arrange and see the color combination. The colors are very pretty, nice and fresh, perfect for the spring. But we have couple of pendants to work with, and I also pulled out this pendant, which is a bronze pendant from my stash, and it has this uh, you can open it up. It's a locket which can be opened up, and you can put photo or something, and then close it, and kind of it looks very nice. Even though we got the gold findings from the box, I thought that should be an alternative that I can think about. So the thing is, normally I don't actually I try to use the beads that comes in the box. I never use anything outside. So that puts I mean that's that being said, it's people can actually design with that box was my intention previously. But what I thought was, why not I include some stuff if I have to, right? Until unless I have to, I don't want to. But if I have to, then I should be able to use stuff from my stash as well. That's my thought process. Let me know in the comments below if you guys don't agree with it, because I don't want to do something which you guys don't like it, or you guys want me to stick only to the box, the stuff from the box, because the findings are all different colors. They are, normally see this that yellow and this yellow is completely different. So if I'm working on something, then it's not, even or so. So I always find it difficult to work within, but it is a very, very good challenge, which I really appreciated for several years. And it was like, you have to work with those beats. You cannot work around it. You can work around it, but you cannot work out of it, kind of a thing. So that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm not saying that it didn't make sense, but I would say, like, if possible, I can use it. And as a jewelry maker, until unless you're starting now, um, if you're making jewelry for quite some time, you also have some stash available. Normally, I would use at least seed beads is the one that I will use from my stash. Other than that, I use completely the palette that we get from the box. I don't use anything outside. So this time also I'm not planning to, but I want to have an open mind about it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want that, or you guys want me to stick just to the beads that we got from the box. It's totally up to you guys. Okay, I have no problems. It's just that I just want to ask, and then I should not be of the impression that people do use their own beads. I have seen several of them use that, and that should not be the case that you guys wanted, and I'm not doing that, right? So that's the reason I wanted to put that out there. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there. So these are the beads that we got, and first of all, I really like to work with a pendant. You guys must have known by now that I really like to work with a pendant. I don't um I mean first of all, I will get that out of the way, kind of, first figure that out, then work from there. Because if you are not using a pendant, and if you are doing something else, then you can always use something else. But if there's a pendant already, and there's a perfect match of beads in your box, then why not use that, right? So that's my thought process. I think I have to have a bigger bowl for this. Sorry about that. That was loud. I didn't think that it'll be loud. Okay, so that's that. So I really wanted to understand how many beads I have, and if they're all in containers, then it's easy to. So if I'm working with this pendant right here, which not the bronze one, the one that we got from the box, this is the exact match of the jade that this pendant is, right? So excuse me, but it is not always good to have the same color. You can do contrast. There is absolutely nothing wrong in doing a contrast, as you guys will all agree with me, I guess, right? Nothing wrong in doing a contrast. So, and if I'm doing a contrast, I can do this nugget beads. I think that kind of looks really nice. So as these crackle beads, these are not gemstone, but I really like it somehow, very very nice and fresh. Instead of using this, I thought I will use that bead, but I'm not so sure yet. Anyways, I will include this, and we have also the lampwork beads that we got in the box that we can use, which is this right here. And so if you just put that in here, and you can see how well you like it. I feel that this color, the lotus kind of a bead, and this goes very well. This does okay, goes well, but yeah, we can do if you want to. So that's an option, and this is also an option, the nugget beads. Even though these are like different, little bit pale, little bit, transparent and so forth and so on, this will also look nice. And I really like these beads as well, very pretty. So let me see if I can take this and put it in here. This I feel like will give you the best contrast if you want, but I'm not looking for that. So I am just going to go ahead with so these are the findings, and these are some of the beads that we have here in the box, right? So let me just right, so that so we have the crystals, that's pretty as well, and so as these beads. So they're all very gorgeous. I like it. It's different, it's not a regular mix of beads. Once in a while, if you get something different, then it's you appreciate it more than the regular beads, kind of, right? So I just want to work with all of these. Let me see, just push this ahead a little bit, right? Take my beads down, the crackle beads down here. I'm not still convinced of the fact the lampwork beads are there. I like its lampwork, and it will give a nice contrast to the crackle beads. I like that fact, but I don't know if it ties with the pendant or not. So the other ones that we have is these amazing ones, very pretty. I'm going to use that for earrings, and this teardrop, but none of them make sense, right, to me. And also, if you want, you can add this, but I am not so sure about that either. So if I want to work with this pendant, and you can also bring these beads in the mix so that you can tie the color combination. So these are crackle beads, so I want to use what to say, Chinese nodding cord, as you guys might already have guessed, right? Let me bring that out. So there's a couple of options for cord that I pulled out from my stash. As you guys already can see, this neon green is too much for me, so I'm taking that out. And this one is 0.5 millimeter. Even though this is the color, I would go closer to this, but it's a 0.5 millimeter, which I'm not liking it that much. We can always try and see how well it goes. I mean, kind of yes and no, but this one will be nice and bright is what I feel, and it's 0.5 millimeter for sure. Let me just use a lighter. See, it does a big hole, and kind of I think this will look nice. I don't like any of the other colors. I know this is a little bit of, a green which is, like more, what to say, mehendi kind of a green, they would say. But I like it against this bead and this pendant, so I kind of like it. So you can either make a long necklace, but this pendant is short one, like it's a small one. It's not a very big huge pendant, as you guys can see. It's a very small pendant. So this time I'm gonna make a shorter necklace instead of a long necklace. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna measure my cord first. So I'm gonna take about, this is 1 feet. I'm gonna take, that's 2. Normally I would take 6 to 8 feet, and I think this time I would just take 6 feet to be exact. Okay, that's all I'm taking, and I'm gonna stick with that. Okay, 6 feet of cord is what I'm taking. And now take the end of the cord, both the ends together, and find the middle of the cord. Once you do that, okay, go through the pendant from behind. Okay, and then open it up, take the cord through. See, I did it in the opposite direction. Yes. So now we have to go through the pendant from the front to the back. Okay. Every time I do this, I try to remember which side I need to put the loop in, but then I do the opposite. Okay, take it and open that loop up, take the 2 cords inside, and then you will get a lock's head knot. Okay, that's our lock's head knot right there. Okay, so then we can separate the cord and work with it. Because the loop is smaller, the knot will not come undone that much if otherwise you have the loop bigger. Okay, so now you can start threading your beads and figuring it out. So we can start by this. If you want to combine these beads, just to give it, because these are smaller, as you guys can see, so we can actually load these beads. We can load these beads in here. And see if it looks nice, because sometimes what happens, if you are not used to using a lighter, you can try a tree light handle. Trust me, it was very hard for me initially, but I got used to. Now I'm okay with using the lighter and burning the edges and creating a needle out of it to thread our beads. But initially it was a hassle, especially the one that I used, the lighter. So that was really hard. So as you guys can see, there's can you see this is also moving, the lock's head knot, plus this won't stay properly, and one will be up and above the other, which I really don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is, if I'm gonna add a spacer bead, which we have the spacer beads here, but the only problem is the color of the spacer bead. Right, the color of the spacer bead. If you want, you can add the crystal that we received, but I have something toned down, like a little bit bronzy color, which I really wanted to use. Let me try. If it does go through, then I will use that as a starter. So you can also use seed beads, for example, from your stash as a starting point, so that you can avoid that kind of, that kind of clash between the 6mm beads right at the start. See that? That looks kind of pretty, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it. As I said, you can use 8 seed beads, 6 seed beads, anything you have available in your stash in a metallic color. Go ahead and buy those metallic colors. That will be really helpful for you to design. It will be easier as well. And see, then also there will be some discrepancies, because as you guys can see, the lock set knot keeps moving, but you can put a dot of glue over there so that the knot sticks and not moves as much. So that's also a possibility. So now I like that, so I'm just gonna add my, what do they call this, jade, dyed jade bead. It looks like an emerald, but I think it's dyed jade, if I'm not wrong, or aventurine is what I think this is. Okay, so that's the start of our necklace. Now we need to figure how to add this, but if you want, you can just use these beads and make a short necklace and call it a day. If you don't want to add the crackle beads, that's also a possibility, but I want to try and see if the crackle beads looks good against these, because I'm not so sure. First of all, I thought it'll be good, but now my mind has changed. So it's always good to lay them up and see if you like it, or if you don't like it. It's always a possibility that you will or you won't. So let me just put a knot here. I'm doing a sliding knot on the other side so the beads don't fall down on the other side. So I just do an overhand knot, make a loop, put your cord through the loop. Okay, and then if you have tweezers, you can also do hand knotting technique, which I have talked much about in my channel. But if you don't want to do a hand knotting technique, and then so just make an overhand knot, take your tweezers, go through the knot and hold where you want the knot to be, and then just pull that down towards the bead. Take it out, still the knot is open and it is loose, as you guys can see. So now what you do is take the cord, okay, and push the knot down to the bead, just like so. Then you will have the knot where you want it to be, and you can also adjust this by this. See that? So that's how it will be. So now move the other bead and see if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. So other side also, I'm just gonna pop the bead down, okay, and then make an overhand knot, wrap it around your fingers, take the end of the cord, go through that. My sliding knot is coming into play, and then again same thing, go through the loop and hold where you want the knot to be, and then just pull the cord, wiggle and take the tweezers out. The knot is loose, go ahead and tighten it. So don't worry about the lock set knot. As I said, if you put a glue, it will be fine. So see if you like it, if you like this. So one side we will add the beads with the crackle beads and see if you like it. then the other side it will be just going to be this 6 millimeter. I like this spacer a lot, so I'm just gonna add it here. And as I said, there is a spacer in this box also for you guys. It's slightly a bigger spacer which you can use it, but I kind of like it without the big spacer. I kind of like the ones which is toned down rather than, you know, it's bright and stuff like that. So this is how it's gonna be, if you like that or like this. I kind of like it. I like the crackle beads being there, so I'm gonna continue with that. So I'll take this off and make a knot here. I'm not going to take the beads off, I'm just gonna let it hang in there. Again, put my tweezers down, just like that. Drop all the beads here. And then make an overhand knot. So if you're doing hand knotting technique, this is how I like to do. Tie that knot. So over this side as well, we will add our crackle beads, and I'm not going to use the lamp work beads. When I'm using this, I will use this two together. Add a bead. Make a knot. As I said, you don't have to knot every other bead. You can use the hand knotting technique or the technique with the tweezers. That's it. Either of them you can use. I don't want it to be very tight. And then also another thing that you can do is, you don't have to, let me just pop some of these beads in the tray. So you can also use the gold spacer beads that we got in the box, and you can also use this is amazing, the bead caps. I really like this plain bead caps. That will be really nice. I didn't use it. If I want, I could have used that, but I want this very toned down kind of a necklace. It's not a long necklace, which I normally do use a long necklace, but I didn't this time. I am just going to make a short necklace because the pendant is not that big. So I'm just going to continue my pattern. The pattern is totally up to you. You can also use the lotus beads that we got. Anything that you want to use. Figure out a pattern which you like, and then go ahead and use the necklace. So this is how it's gonna be. So I like it. I like this green as well. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I'll come back and show you guys how we can finish this short necklace. And I'll also tell you guys how much cord that I used. Hi friends, welcome back. So I finished knotting all of these. As you guys can see, there is a simple change in the pattern. The first set we did here is as you guys can see here, there is the spacer bead, the jade, the crackle, spacer, jade. Okay, the knots. So the spacer bead and the jade together, after that there's a knot, and then there's a knot after the thing, and then here. And I changed that pattern here because I don't want the spacer bead to come continuously right next to each other. See, after the jade there is the spacer bead. If I have to continue the same pattern, then I'll have to put a spacer here and then the jade, which I didn't want to, because now if you look at the necklace, the spacer beads are, scattered. It's not close to each other, right next to each other, except for this side, this one, and then it separates on the strands. So here what I did is I did the jade and I did a knot. Then right after that I put a spacer bead in after the crackle beads, and then a knot, and then plain jade knot, and then I continued the first pattern here and then the second pattern here. So I alternated the pattern. So if I want to say, see this, this kind of looks pale, right? Plain. The crackle beads looks plain, and in this the crackle beads looks decorated. So I alternated the pattern. So you guys can see this. It's not a big deal. You don't have to do the same thing, but if you want just a little bit of a change and you want the scattered look of the spacer beads, because the metallic elements is what pulls the necklace uh, like stand out, so that's the one which catches your eye the first. So that's why I changed the pattern, but it's totally up to you. So here we go. This is how much the jade necklaces allow the jade beads allowed me to make the necklace with. I saved 2 beads for the earrings. The length of this necklace is about, say, 16 inches in total, 8 inches on each side, give or take. So it has to have a clasp and it cannot go on top of your head, obviously, right? So there is a lot of cord left, trust me. I will see. Okay, you can go ahead, and I took 6 feet. You can take I would say 4 feet. That's more than enough for this necklace, is what I feel. And also, now we are going to crisscross this cord and make a sliding knot or adjustable knot with our Chinese knotting cord itself, so that it can open and close, very adjustable for you guys to wear. So for that purposes, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to first of all measure this. So we would not want this to be very, very small, um, but I would want at least about, say, 5 inches or so. Okay, and that's how we can, this is how much it will open up, and if you put it on top of your head, that will go through. So 5 inches is my ideal. You can do up till 6 inches in total, and then so I'm just gonna cut this, and then I'll measure this for you guys exactly. That is 2 feet, 2 feet and 5 plus 6, 11, 2 feet, almost 2 3/4 of a feet is left. So that's why I said 4 feet of cord would do this necklace. So now I need to crisscross. Before crisscrossing, we can take a crackle bead, insert it. You don't even need to melt the cord. Okay, and then tie an overhand knot. See that? I'm gonna do a surgeon's knot. This is just an overhand knot, but I want to tie one more. I want to go through the loop one more time, so that the knot is bulkier and my crackle bead won't go out. Okay, I better want this knot to be, at the end rather than here, because I have only 5 feet of cord, so 5 inches of cord, and I don't want it to be short. So what I would do is I would open up this, use your tweezer nose or needle nose pliers to hold that bump right here, and then you just pull. It's not that difficult to open up a Chinese knotting cord knot. It's not very hard, trust me. It's simple. And then you don't have anything, the cord doesn't hold a memory, so you wouldn't know that you have knotted here, right, as you guys can see. So let's do the knot one more time again. This time I will keep it at the end, and then hold that right here, hold the end right here, and then now straighten that. That's as much as I can go. That's a double knot. We'll do the same this side as well. Make an overhand knot, bring it all the way down, and take the end, go through it once more. You can hold it with your pliers, that way you can move the knot as close as possible. Okay, what you can do now is you can cut this off a little bit and melt these ends. Give it just a bit of time and then press, because it will be hot. And now we are ready to do the sliding knot. Just remember to move the crackle beads or the end beads down and then do the sliding knot, otherwise you will have to do it again. So you can tape this to your surface, to your table, or you can use my favorite knotty do it all. I have it, so I'm using it, but it is not necessary to have those to do the stuff. The Naughty Do It All is a board that I bought from. I'm not being sponsored or anything. Don't think about it that way. But I'm just letting you guys know where I bought this from. jtv.com, or you can also purchase the Naughty Do It All from its website, the Naughty Do It All. This is a smaller size, and there is a bigger size as well. I think this is a travel size. So I cut the cord anyways, right? The ones that I took 6 feet with. So I'm just gonna use the same for this. It's a long cord, I will save it, but I'm not gonna do a lot of knots, so it's gonna be less. So keep it underneath. We are going to do a square knot, or macrame square knots it's called, and it consists of P's and Q's. It consists of 2 different types. So you take this is considered to be the center cord, and these 2 are the knotting cords. You keep the knotting cords below the center cord and hold it like this. Take the leftmost cord and keep it on top of the center cord, just like this. This reminds of a Q shape, right? So that's what we are doing. Take the rightmost cord, go on top of the left, underneath and through this. Because it's long, I'm just looping it up. Okay, just like that. And then tighten that knot. You should not do the sliding knot very tightly. It should be a tad bit loose. It should not be very tight. Okay, so now take the leftmost cord. Now this resembles the P, right? So the Q's and the P's. Take the right cord on top of the left, underneath and through the loop that you created with the P. Tighten that up. That is one square knot. So it's pretty easy. You can do this knot with anything, cord, wire, you just name it. You can do it with anything, and it gives you the sliding effect, so that you don't have to, for example in bracelet, you don't have to know the wrist size of the person whom you are making for. So it's pretty easy, it's versatile. Try this knot if you are not really sure about macrame. At least try this knot. This will work for many purposes, and you don't even have to learn another knot to do bracelets or necklaces. This is the base, guys, and this serves its purpose, is what I'm thinking. I really was scared of macrame in the first, and then once I learned it, there is no stopping. It's been a blessing, and it's been very fun, and I always mostly resort to this, because you can create a lot of variations. For example, I did knots every other bead, or so sometimes after the metallic beads and the jade beads in this necklace, and you can change it up. You don't have to knot every other bead. You can just string the beads and knot at the end. That's also totally fine. and you can leave couple of beads and knot. There's a lot of things that you can do with Chinese knotting cord and macrame as such. So it's something that you need to keep in your arsenal, kind of. So just if you're into jewelry making and you want to learn it, um, so if you want to learn the basic stitches, go ahead and watch the basic macrame knots tutorial, which is linked down in the description box below for you guys. So take advantage of that and learn this versatile knot. So I'm done. You can do as low as 3 knots. That's more than enough, but I like to do a little bit more. So here I am. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna carefully cut this cord, leaving a short tail on both sides. Now take this lighter and melt this and try to press it towards its side, because you don't want the cords underneath has to move. So if you press it there, it will restrict the movement of the cords. So you press it only on the sides. We are done. So here is what it is. See that? That will open up completely. You can put it on top of your neck and then adjust according to your. See, this is still big. I can use one more. I can use this for one more sliding clasp or adjustable knot. So I save that. But this is short. I throw it in trash. So this is our necklace right now. I really like the way this turned out to be. I normally don't do a short knotted necklace, and this is perfect for, the, as I said, this larkset knot keeps coming up. So just we'll put a dab of glue so that this doesn't move and create this. Let me just take my bead stringing glue. You can use GS Hypo Cement, and then find the knot, adjust it exactly the way you want it. Oops, there is a big bulge right here. No, just add a little bit of glue here and go on the back and wrench it as well. Let this dry for at least 24 to 48 hours. 24 hours is good enough. But if I'm selling it, I would not take a risk, and then I let it dry for 48 hours, and then I will do the necklace. I will give it away or sell it. So how cool is this necklace? It's pretty easy, simple, straightforward. At the same time, it's pretty. If you do like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification. I do upload videos couple of times a week. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to see anything specific, any tutorial specific, just leave me in the comments below. I'll try my level best to do that. I really appreciate it. And there is super thanks right next to the description box below. There's a heart and thanks written right to it. That's called super thanks. You just click on it and you can donate as much as you can. It'll help my channel grow. I really would appreciate that as well. Thank you. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.